Let's see. Let me just check microphone. Microphone one check. Okay, it should be good. Okay, I got one person. I've got one person. I'm live. I can see I'm live. Two people now. Little White Ferret. Thank you for your message. Thank you for always supporting in the background. Thank you so much for that. Microphone one check. Okay, it should be good. All right, let me go ahead and turn the volume down. All right, cool. Hey, Frank Dika's dropping knowledge, talking papas, talking. We're talking papas live. Sustained Sunday, Sustainability Sunday. Hey, what's up, Katie Frizzle? Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Katie. You know, when we talk about sustainability, we could talk about a lot of things. You know, I had to learn about sustainability when it came to drafting action plans. Whenever you create an action plan or something like a guideline, processes, whatever it is, you have to be able to demonstrate that it's sustainable. Talking papa, yeah, we're talking papas, you know, talking papas. Sustainable Saturday, sustainability. We're going to talk a little bit about sustainability, but more in the sense of dealing with people. More in a sense of relationships. Now, I'm going to play a video that'll explain some of those terms, and I'll pause it so that I can tie it into the sustainability part of it, because the video itself is not talking about sustainability in a relationship, but it does touch base on what it means without actually mentioning it. And I think that as adults, you know, my videos are geared towards adults. My videos are geared to older people, you know, people that may be around my age group. As a matter of fact, I was checking out the stats on my videos, and the majority of my viewers are 30 years old and up. So to me, that's excellent. Like that's the audience, right? Now, if there's young people that can learn from what I do, from the videos I put out, if they can, you know, if they like them, whatever, if, you know, people younger than 30, it's all good too. But I target my content to adults. Miss Yaya, nice to see you, Miss Yaya. Frank, Lady, Little White Ferret, Katie Frizzle. That's right, Miss Yaya. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for listening in. God bless you and your family. Likewise with Katie Frizzle, Little White Ferret. You guys are always in my prayers. You guys know that. We don't stop. We don't stop. We're talking papas. Talking papas. You know, I think it's important to understand that before we get into something, before we begin something, we have to know whether it's going to be sustainable. Will we be able to keep it up? Do we have everything within our possession, within our grasp, to not only start it, to not only make it work, but keep it running? You know, and to keep it running at a level where it's sustainable, where, you know, it generates its own profit or it generates its own gains to keep it active. Well, those are the things that we have to look at, and you have to think about that in every aspect of the word. Like a few months back, they were offering me a job. Okay, they were offering me a job on site as a supervisor. Now, it looked good on paper, but when it came down like to the salary, when it came down to how much time I was going to have to spend traveling, being there, it wasn't sustainable to me. You know, maybe someone else would have accepted the job because it paid a little bit, a little more than what I'm earning now, a little more. but not enough to get me out of working from home and and working the way I do. It wasn't sustainable. I started adding things up. I started adding up the hours, started adding up how much time I would really be at home as opposed of, and then I was going to be on call, like on my days off, I was going to be on call, company phone, all that shit. And even though some positions sound good, because it sounds good, I mean, it would look good on my resume to have a job like that once again. Especially at my age, especially at this point in time in my life, to add more to my resume is always a win. Unless unless it's not sustainable. And that job was not sustainable to. Now, if it would have paid me, I'm gonna be honest. If it would have been $500 or more a month, I would have gone. But I know that it wasn't going to be that, so it wasn't sustainable. You cannot get into something unless you know you're going to be able to complete it, finish it, and maintain it. Especially when we're talking about relationships, when we're talking about marriages, when we're talking about raising children together, that's a lifelong commitment. Do you have what it takes to keep it sustainable? That's what we're talking about today. Sustainable Sunday, Talkin Papas, Frank Ticas, dropping knowledge, Talkin Papas live. I always come at you with a little bit of a message, a little bit of knowledge. Hoping everyone's having a fantastic Sunday. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'm trying to get my little channel up to 1,000 viewers. We're on our way, little by little. I know I'm going to make it. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to your support, everyone that comes in and stops by. Hugo Torres, saludos, Frank, and everyone on the chat. Happy Sunday afternoon to all. Hey, happy Sunday to you, Hugo. That's right, Miss Yaya. That's right. Niel Hugo. Sunday Papitas. That's right, Hangman Stranger. Cubole. Man, we already got the haters in here. That's crazy. Hugo Torres, saludos, Katie Ferret. That's right, Hangman Ferret. Frizz, Yaya, Primo, Hangman. That's right. Hey, Mimi, nice to see you. Hey, chat, nice to see you. Shout out to you. Shout out to Blue 2 times. What's up, Frank and chat? Chilling, man. Chilling. What's up, Ms. Yaya? That's right, Katie. That's right, Mimi. Little White Ferret. Man, the haters are retarded. Don't lie on me, bitches. Don't lie on me. Are your narratives sustainable? Gotta ask. You have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself every step of the way before you begin anything in life. We're going to talk a little bit about human relationships. I will play a video. But even you haters, even you trolls, are your narratives sustainable? Will they hold up? Because you can run all the narratives you want right now. But if I read what you just put, you fucking little hater, do you have what it takes to support that claim? That's right, Mimi. Are the dumbass really that stupid and brainwashed by that idiot? It's not that his fans don't care that he's not in good standing. It's that they believe everything he says. The thing is that they see him as someone that actually lived that life, and I think they believed a lot of what he said at the very beginning, and now it's hard for them to accept that the guy that maybe they even have some kind of respect for is all of these other things. A lot of them are loyal to that dude. Like, they've been with him since the beginning. They've supported him, gave him money. So I think that, they're gullible people that believed in him and continue to believe in him. That's how people can fall for lies and like bullshit narratives and cults, When you see this type of thing, man, like, how could people not realize that the truth is out there? I mean, the truth is out there. All you got to do is click on the search engine, right? And all that stuff will come up. I mean, it's not hidden. Is so once again, like, see that narrative, bro. Like when we're talking about like Joker, when we're talking about fucking Skittles, the reason why we can continue to talk and call them out is because the narrative is sustainable. Like they do enough damage out here. They put enough of themselves out here. They expose themselves enough to where the narratives always ring true. They give truth to the narratives. They give truth. So they're not really narratives, it's just fact then at the end of the day. So that's why we can come out here and speak facts all day long. I can come out here and speak facts all day long. And you can watch any of my videos on those fools, and you will see the similar traits going on now. So those videos are equally as relevant as anything that they're doing now. The same goes for my videos. Like if you go to see what I talk about, it continues to be the same thing. So for these geniuses to jump on and thinking they can create narratives out of nothing, you have to ask yourself, will that narrative be sustainable when compared to the fact, to the truth? Come on, man. You think I would be putting myself out here if I was any of the things that you guys say? Fucking stupid. That's right, Mimi. Nice to see you. Lady Mimi, that's right. Now, if you look up sustainability, you're going to find a lot of different definitions because it could be used for a lot of different things. Because basically what it means is, can you keep something up? Right? If you start this, whatever it is, relationship, you're going to build a house, you're going to do something, a project, you're going to go through a diet, you're going to go through some tryouts for a sport, I don't know, and you have to lose weight, you have to get in shape, whatever it is. Do you have what it takes? Will you have what it takes to be able to accomplish your goal? And once accomplished, will you be able to maintain it? That's sustainability. Now, it also deals with a lot of other things, like not harming other things to get this done. Like just because you have everything at your disposal, you also have to measure if it's causing damage somewhere else. Because sustainability is that. It's that you're able to do all of these things without disrupting the order of everything else. That's hard. Not everything that we want, not everything that we plan for, not everything we desire will be sustainable. Because times change, people change. We end up switching jobs, and sometimes just a job switch, a schedule switch, can cause a big difference in the relationships that we have. Maybe I went from being able to spend 4 hours, now I can only spend 2 hours devoting time to a relationship, to family. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about sustainability. And these are things that we as adults have to think about, because time is money. Because you are sacrificing quality time to make money, right? To have a job, to spend how many hours outside of the home, how many hours outside of away from the kids. All of that requires that you manage your time wisely. You're able to manage your economy wisely. All of these things you have to constantly think about and say is, will it be sustainable? 2 times not all are the best. Yeah, they're just the usual deviants. Yeah, that's right. I think man, the thing for he wishes with all his heart you were. Frank, sometimes people reveal themselves without even knowing that narrative. Yeah. Look, bro. I have no problems with people that have alternative lifestyles. No, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that many of us watch what we do, and our subscribers to my channel, shout out to you. You know, but they go from, look, so they're already running a couple of narratives, right? What you're saying, but then they're talking about, well, wife beater, and then they talk about, but I'm also a wimp. But like, what am I? Your narratives are not sustainable. They're just insults. That's like, yeah, man. I send my respects, Tikas, and everyone showing support in the chat. That's right, Machete. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. That's right, little white ferret. And, you know, that's why you guys will see that I will be live. Like, I'm inviting you guys to come watch. You guys are aware. Let me go ahead and share the link if anybody wants to jump on. I will start playing the video. I do want to play the video. I might pause it to talk a little bit about it, to tie it all in to what it is that I'm talking about. But yeah, sustainable Sundays. You have to know that you're going to be able to pull off, that you're going to be able to accomplish what it is that you're getting into. Straight up. You know, it could be a relationship, like we just said. It could be a new job. It could also be a position of power. Like these guys that raised their hand to be something, and they couldn't finish the mission. Like you should have evaluated early on if you were going to be able to complete the mission or not before raising your hand for that. Straight up. That's just like going for a job. Like I told you, I went for a job and I realized it was not sustainable for me. It cut away at my quality time with my family, with my kids. It cut away. I had to probably spend more money just to go over there because I would have to buy lunch and dinner. So it didn't make sense. Like the position, and this is the message. I hope you guys are listening to what I'm saying. I hope you guys are listening to the comparison I'm making. Okay? That position of authority, being an account supervisor, you know, having everything at my disposal to make decisions, to plan things out, was not worth the sacrifice. It was not worth the salary or the time I was going to spend away from my kids. So I basically decided ahead of time when they offered me this and they told me, they gave me the details, I said, no, thanks. That's not sustainable. Not for me. I'm cool the way I am. A lot of people should have sat down and thought, am I going to be able to do this for the long run? Or will there get to be a point in my life in which I might not be able to continue to pull it off? And that's why a lot of people won't raise their hands for certain shit. If you catch my drift. That's why a lot of people prefer not to. Because they may think that they're not going to be able to do everything that's expected of them in that position, in that role. I knew I wasn't, so I denied it. And a lot of times, guys, this is what I want you to understand. A lot of times you may be offered things that may seem cool, that may seem extra money, all of these things. But you have to think about it. Will it be sustainable? Will I be able to pull that off? I heard Danny Williams can't sustain a music career. Probably. Taco everyone loves. That's right. Hey, what's good, Factos? Just over here talking papas, bro. Talking papas. Talking papas. Sustainable Sunday. We're talking about sustainability. We're talking about whether you're going to be able to pull something off, and once you pulled it off, will you be able to sustain it? Will you be able to keep it up? Do you have the resources? Do you have the energy? Are the conditions the same for you or better? Because if they're worse or if they're not the same, it could change if it's going to be sustainable or not. Like changing patterns are a constant in life. Change is a constant in life. No change, taxes are unavoidable life things, you know? So you have to ask yourself, this that I want to do, this that I want to start, this that I want to be involved in, this that I want to partake in. Do I have the energy? Do I have the time? Do I have the passion? Do I have the strength? Do I have the courage? Do I have the balls to continue to be down for it? Now, there are some things that are of no consequence if you decide to quit at one point, like a job. You know, you can quit a job. You know, you can quit a job, find another job, maybe make a little less money, whatever, but you're not putting anyone at risk. You're not putting your life at risk because you're switching jobs, because you're quitting a job. But there are other things that if you signed up for or you're committed to, if you quit them, they may be perilous to your health. But you should have thought about it. You should have thought about it. Like, that's why I always push to watch and observe, pay attention, make sure you know what you're getting into. And I know life is cool when it's unexpected. I've lived that way. But I'm talking to adults, I'm talking to people that have gone through it. You know, there comes a time in which it's best to just kick back and observe. No, when we were younger, we could afford to, you know, just jump off the gun and be quick tempered and not give a fuck, just rush headlong into things without really thinking about it. As adults, and if you have children, if you have responsibilities, if you have jobs, you're going to think once, twice, three times about what it is that you're getting into. Stay solid on social media. Don't chase clout. Don't fake it. And don't burn yourself out. Keep it real. Stay consistent. And let respect outlast the hype. Sustainability for reals. That's right, machete. No, that's why I keep my content simple. I'm not out here doing the most. You're not going to see me. Maybe, I don't. Well, you never know, right? Because if I hit if I hit $1 million, the $1 million moves on YouTube, you might see me with cases of like sport memorabilia. I don't know, bro. But as far as that goes, like, I'm not concerned with having like this righteous studio look. I mean, it's just me talking papas. Frank Ticas dropping knowledge, talking papas. Sustainable Sunday. Is what you're doing sustainable? Are your narrative sustainable? Is your job right now, is it sustainable, or do you need to find something better or something more? Maybe you need to get another job because your current living situation is not sustainable. Yesterday I put out a video. Well, I put out a video this morning on what I did yesterday as far as shopping, so you guys can kind of get an idea of like the economy down here. So if you haven't already checked it out, please do so. You know, those are the kind of videos that I know are not going to get too many views, but I'm cool with dropping because I want people to understand a little bit more of how things work. You know, sometimes we see them a certain way or we think them a certain way. I just try to provide a different perspective. And yeah, so I put that video out just so you guys know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about the economy down here. Remember, it's USD down here. We have US dollars, it's USD, so we're dollarized. Other than that, check the video out. If you haven't already hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Frank Ticas, dropping knowledge, talking papas live, little bit of message, and knowledge. This is knowledge. You know, we really have to do a better job at planning shit out. We do. We have to do a better job at planning shit out. You know, you have to really consider the fact of whether you're going to be able to pull it off or not, or maybe you're biting into something that you're not going to be able to chew. Sorry, I got distracted. Don't trip. Jay Slaughter, what's up? Little White Ferret. And even then, yeah, that's in Jay Slaughter, Joker was a just frustrated little mad, locked up mad. His little, let's see, Joker was just a frustrated little mad, locked up mad at the world. His little arrogance got him where he is now. Yeah, and all I can say now, like looking back, is that his nice guy persona, humble doves, humble doves, was not sustainable. He could not keep up the act. He couldn't keep it up. It was too alien to him. It was too foreign to him to be that way. Like, well, who we see now? No, the scandalous dude, on the video that I dropped where he was talking about it, how he scammed Native Americans and some white guy out of like $27,000. That's who he is. That's Joker. Now, I'm not saying that what he's talking about, like those stories that he's saying, are real, because I don't believe some of that is real. But that's just me. That's my opinion. If there's someone that can say, no, that's facts, this is why I know it's facts, okay, cool. I don't think what he said in that video where he said that he came up 27,000 off some wood and all of that, I don't believe that. But for his mind to go there and for him to laugh about it and think it's funny and think it's okay to say that type of shit on a live in front of people on a public platform and not care about what it looks like, what the optics look like, it just lets me know that his good guy persona was not sustainable. He could not keep it up. We're talking about sustainability, right? And you can look at it in many different ways. There's different definitions based on the different objectives, if they're business objectives, if they're legal objectives, whatever they are. Sustainability can be seen in different ways. Right now, we're just using the general term to talk about these relationships that we have with people, that we have with our subscribers, with our viewers, with those that watch, amongst ourselves, with our family. Also, how we decide whether we switch jobs or not. But you really have to sit back and think, like, will I be able to do it? Now, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. I named today what is it? Sustainable Sunday. So Sustainable Sunday. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, Talkin Papa's live, Sustainable Sunday. But it's Sunday, and Sunday service is on Sundays. So I'm going to read to you something real quick. Joker is low IQ, low SQ, low EQ, very high ego, horrible combination. Yeah, that's right. Joker's ego is his downfall. That little black rotten soul is eating him alive. Sad little man. Yeah, I agree. He's useless. He can't apply a job his big ass age. Yeah, bro. Reto, your twisted homoerotic devotion to other men is ironically what causes you to state such perverted, delusional things. Yeah, crazy. Hey, what's up, Popeye? Nice to see you. Hey, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, man. That's right, little white ferret, machete. Is Quinn Emanuel happy with your frequent use of the N-word? Will they be, is the question. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Talking papitas fritas. Hey, we're talking papas. Talking papas. When I decided to do this, I'm going to try to go live every day, I had to think if it was going to be sustainable, if I was going to be able to pull it off. Now, after considering it, after looking at my time and all of that, I saw that I was. That's why during the week I do it at a certain time, usually between 5:20. Unless I have more time, I'll start earlier. And then during the weekend, it's a little earlier. But I have to sit down and think, will I be able to pull this off? I'm about to play a video. I haven't done so yet, but we're going to go ahead and look at that. I wonder how people would feel about representation by Quinn Emanuel, knowing they are staffed by sociopathic, racist losers. I don't know, bro. Little White Ferret, I see you. That's right. That's a sad way to represent the bloodsuckers that keep a tree over your head. You just Jay Slaughter. Gabriel, maybe Willy Wonka. Papa, I see everyone. That's cool. Little Magic Ferret sees all. That's right, Machete Firme too. You're teaching me hella new words. I'll be smart in no time. Hey, what's up, Firme too? Nice to see you, man. Thanks so much for always stopping by, showing support to the channel. God bless everybody that's watching, everyone that's made it. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so as well. As I was saying, I had to think about how sustainable it would be for me to keep up the channel and to do more with it. And I saw I could. I saw I'm able to maneuver through time. Like I'm able to multitask. If I'm sometimes I'm working and I'm editing a video. I've told you that various times. Like I'll work on a video while I'm working, and I'll just add little tidbits when I'm off for a second. And yeah, I'm making it work. Now, if in any way, shape, or form it came to a point where I could not do this and something that's maybe more important, obviously I'm going to choose the priority, right? So, or if I'm under the weather, and if I can't even speak, I'm not going to jump on. But hey, salute to people that can do it. I can't do it. Like I'll lose my voice. Try to come up off this wood, Joker. I dare you. Saludos, brother, familia. That's right, Oakland. Saludos to you. Nice to see you, Oakland. Everything. Thank you so much for always being present, for always being around, for being a true supporter. That's right, Oakland. All that drinking got Joker playing fast and loose for far too long. Yeah, and it's not sustainable. That's the whole point. That's right, G Slaughter, Lady Oakland. That's right, Oakland. Everything, Slaughter. Watching Joker has the opposite effect. Little white ferret. That's right, Oakland. Popeye, Machete. Let me just catch up with these. Katie, what's up, Munchkin? Katie Frizzle. That's right, Katie Frizzle. That's right, Facto 7G. Talk that papas, friend. Hey, we're talking papas. 35 watching, 18 likes. Hit the like, puta. That's right, Little white ferret. Facto 7G. Let's see, not much, Slaughter, just over here folding some laundry and listening. All right, well, thank you for listening in. Hit the like button. That's right, Facto. Let me catch up with this. I think anybody who is a minority or has a consequence should be aware of Quinn's and Manuel's discussing racist, quasi-sex offender, stalker representation, and support. Is it sustainable to keep up with it is my question. That's right, Freedom Tube, Katie Frizzle. That's right. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Now, it is, let me see. I'll tell you guys how long it is. It's a little long, but it's not too long. 5 minutes. Go ahead and watch it.
Many people, after they've been in a couple for some time, will privately admit that they are, in many ways, frustrated and disappointed by the person they've chosen to share their lives with. If pressed for details, they will have no difficulty coming up with a list. Their partner, they might complain, is too loyal to their irritating family, or doesn't share their views on the layout of the living room, or never wants to go on camping holidays, or plays tennis every Wednesday evening no matter what, or doesn't like Moroccan food, or doesn't share their enthusiasm for 19th century Russian novels, or has a habit of adding actually to every second sentence when it's actually redundant.
All right, so let me go ahead and stop right there. Now, this is talking about like relationships, right? But if you heard every one of those reasons as to why someone becomes less enthused in being in a relationship, it has to do with expectations. It has to do with shared interests. Like a lot of it has to do with shared interests. Now, how many of you are in relationships where before you even got together, or well, before it became serious, before maybe you had children or got married, or ended up, this is an old ass term, going steady, right? Being committed to one another, just being in a serious relationship, knew things about this person that you didn't like, or that you knew were not compatible with you, and vice versa. Now, how many things about you do you know that this other person has an issue with? Because you have to be aware of that too. People want to force themselves onto people. Like, no, if I don't like something you do, I'm not going to like it. I don't care. I mean, I can like you as a person. We can get along. But that one thing pisses me the fuck off. I'm always going to get pissed off every time you do it. You don't have to change it. I'm not going to ask you to change it, but you know that every time you do that shit is going to piss me off. Like, those are things that you have to consider when going into a relationship, because how long will you be able to put up with that thing that bothers you? Like, do you really see yourself jumping out of bed, 60 years old, grumpy as fuck, body aches, rheumatism, and thinking and that that's going to happen, knowing that that person is going to do something that irritates you? Like, these are things that you have to contemplate. Like, will you be able to be in a relationship or sustain a relationship with someone such as this? Whether it's for the good of the children, whether it's for the good of society. I don't want people to talk shit about me. I don't want people to think that I'm easy. I don't want people blah, blah, blah. There's so many different social structures and burdens that are placed on us. And we're going to talk a little bit about the burden of expectation. Now, sometimes we accept things that we know we're not going to be able to deal with for very long. A lot of times we hope that in the course of things will change, things will get better. No, we want to be optimistic. But let's be real. If you're getting into a relationship with someone, this person has lived a life and to a point where this way of being for them is how they want to be. Why would they change that? Like, why would they all of a sudden want to change for you? And vice versa. You have to ask yourself, would I change this, who I am, for this person? I know this bothers him. I know this bothers her. Can I change that for this person? Like, just to be cool with this person and to have a relationship with this person? How long can I do it? Is this something that's naturally who I am? Or is this something that I can do away with? You have to ask yourself that, because 10 years from now, you're going to be arguing over that pet peeve. That shit's going to fucking piss you off. And you're going to be mad. And if you're going to be in a bad, in an argument, that might be one of the things that someone tells you, or that you tell someone, like, and I don't even like this. And it's something that you've been dealing with for years. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? What you're creating, what you're getting into, is it sustainable? Are your narratives sustainable? Frank Ticas talking papas, talking papas. Frank Ticas talking papas, live. Yeah. Sustainable Sunday. Is it sustainable? You got to ask yourself that every now and then. Is this sustainable? You have to ask yourself that. Every time you're going to go into something new or start something new, it could be a business, it could be a job, relationship, whatever it is, a false narrative. You're about to start a false narrative. Will it be sustainable? Will if it's held up against the light, will your narrative be upheld? Or will we see the writing and see that you're fucking faking it? Is it rational to sustain some run-of-the-mill flunky, stalker, loser racist who is prone to joining cults, harboring homicidal? I don't know if that's sustainable, bro. Especially if they abuse the facility and pretty much guarantee steal and embezzle from work. That's questionable. And what make fellow employees uncomfortable? I would cut my last hella quick, probably cut them. That's right. I wonder if putting up with burden of the helmet had told him he had to wear would have. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Sooners? Interesting topic. Hey, thanks so much, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Shout out to you, Sooners. Shout out to your channel. If you haven't already done so, please go watch Sooners' channel. Exposing the white yarda. A lot of good content, a lot of factual content. Truly appreciate you, bro. Truly appreciate you. All right, let me continue playing this video.
As the list gets longer, they sigh. They still love their partner and they long to be happy together. It's just that it seems impossibly complicated to make this relationship work. What's driving the frustration is not that they've sadly fallen for an idiot as a mate. It's rather that we have all inherited needlessly complicated ideas of what a relationship is supposed to be for. We are told that love is meant to involve the almost total merger of two lives. We expect that a loving couple must live in the same house, eat the same meals together every night, share the same bed, go to sleep and get up at the same time, only ever have sex with, or even sexual thoughts about each other, regularly see each other's families, have all their friends in common, and pretty much think the same thoughts on every topic at every moment.
All right, so that happens all too often, right? Where we expect that because we're in a relationship, or people expect that because someone's in a relationship with someone else, that everyone shares the same things, and that's not always true. That's not always true. No. There are some types of movies that I enjoy that my wife doesn't enjoy. And there are some movies that she likes to watch, so I'm like, I'll skip that. But the vast majority we do agree on. So you can have your differences, but you also have to have your common ground. And the more common ground you have, the more sustainable your relationship will be. But if you have to stretch your will, accept more than you're really willing to accept, if you have to argue every point, you really have to consider it. And I think that relationships have to be considered every 5 years. I honestly think that every 5 years, or you can do every 3 years, you should sit down with your partner and talk about how things are going and where things should go. I think it's healthy because there may be changes in your partner's dreams. They may want something different. They may want to try something new. But they might be afraid to do it because they don't know if you're going to support it or not, or vice versa. Maybe you've got things that you want to try out. It's like when I decided to do this YouTube thing, I had a conversation with my family. I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to start doing this. I think I have more time, blah, blah. And they've been cool with me. They know what's up. I don't think I would be doing it the way I'm doing it if it wasn't sustainable. If I didn't have the time that I do have with them, the times that we spend together, that makes a big difference. If I did not have that time, and the only time that I had was the time that I'm using for YouTube, salud YouTube. I enjoy it. I enjoy being here with you guys. There's other ways we can communicate. I'll say in the Discord. But my family is first, My family is first. Making money is first. And even though I've said that I would like to see YouTube make me money, that's not my priority. My priority is being able to bring in a paycheck, being able to work, being able to do what I do on my, my real job. And YouTube is a hobby. Now, if by doing this I can make money, I can monetize, why not? Why wouldn't I want that, right? But this is not my major focus. This is truly more of a hobby that's become also an interest because of what we do, the type of content that we put out. Shout out to ExposedTube, shout out to ladies of ExposedTube, shout out to Sooner, shout out to Terps, shout out to Hangman Stranger. Shout out to everybody, to Taco Stain that's putting their content out. We continue to do what we do. I'm going to continue to do it. But I'm only going to continue to do it because I know that I can, because of my job, because of what I do and the time that I have, it's sustainable. I can do a lot of things. So it is extremely important that we think about sustainability if we're going to be able to do what we said we were going to do, or what we thought we were going to do, or what we want to do. We have to know whether we're going to be able to keep it up. Could you sustain a marriage with an insecure comic con perv with frying pan size nipples? Nah, it's crazy, huh? Hey, what's up, Ramiro? Nice to see you, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Ramiro. Thanks so much for being here, brother. Blessings to you, man. Sooner Ramiro, but one should probably suppress these sexual desires for a creepy little troll friends a little better if they want to stay married. Yeah, man. That's right, Facto. That's real talk, Frank. Hey, man, hey, if anybody has a difference of opinion, you can go ahead and share. I always like to have conversations with people. I've had people tell me, look, I don't agree with this because of this, and that's an excellent point of view. And if it's compatible, it's compatible. If it's not compatible, I'll explain why, but it's always good to have open and honest conversation about what we believe. There may be changes in your Celly's program. Yeah, that's true. or in their trans pack orders. Anything could happen. Shout out, fan. I just wanted to extend my love and respect for preparing for some. Oh, that's cool. Hey, that's right. Shout out to you, Ramiro. That's right. Ramiro's in the house. Hey, man, we're chilling. It's Sunday, man. But like I said, it's Sunday. It's usually Sunday service. So I will read something to you that I believe is relevant to what we're talking about. Now, this is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Like you can take away the religious, the biblical, anything away from these words. Just listen to the words. And I find this to be extremely thought out advice. And it says, suppose you want, this is Luke 14, verse 28 to verse 30. Okay. It says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. That's some sound advice, regardless of your religion. We transcend all of that. All we're trying to apply is knowledge and learning. Shout out to the Exposed Tube channel, movement, ET, as a friend. Shout out to ladies of Exposed Tube and everybody down with the Exposed Tube revolution. What we do is try to spread awareness and knowledge. Frank Ticas dropping knowledge, Talking Papas. Talking Papas live. When? Sustainable Sunday. Sustainable Sunday. Is it sustainable? You have to ask yourself that. Is it sustainable? Do it just for the fuck of it. Someone said, hey, you know what we should do? Da, 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 and tell them, is it sustainable? To see what their reaction is. Is it sustainable? But is it sustainable? Or is what you're trying to do sustainable? Is your narrative sustainable? I really doubt it. Is your marriage sustainable? Is your relationship sustainable? Will it be sustainable? Maybe you're starting to meet somebody. You're starting to meet this person. Starting to meet a girl. You think she's beautiful, attractive, whatever, intelligent, all of these things. But you don't like the way, I don't know. There's probably something that she does. Maybe she eats with her mouth open, chews with her mouth open, and you don't like it. She's like, that's just crazy, but it happens. It happens. You don't know. You don't know people until you take them out to eat. You don't know people until you go to the movies or you see how they treat other people. That's why you got to wait. You got to wait and observe. You don't know. If you go out with someone that treats the waiter, that treats someone that opens the door, that treats someone disrespectfully and as though they're beneath them, That's a big fucking red flag. You should be aware of that shit. That means one day when they're mad at you, they're gonna look at you that way. They're gonna be like they're like you're beneath them, and they're gonna talk to you that way. They're gonna try to belittle you. Will a relationship with someone like that be sustainable? Well, sometimes you got to take people out for that reason. No, sometimes now people don't really want to date, and I can understand that shit. But you got to know people. You really have to know people. You cannot be confused by online profiles. You know, people have proximity to online profiles because they look cool. They sound good. Oh, that's a Ftdk profile. You know? Remember that one, what was it? That one Ukrainian chick that read Rata's profile on his TikTok? And she said, criminal. That fool got hot, but what do you expect? You put that shit on your profile, bitch. People are going to read it and they're going to feel a certain way about it. If you don't like people reacting that way to it, why do you have that as your fucking profile? I mean, if you're going to put something out there that's constantly going to bring you heat and you don't like getting heat, why do you keep doing it? It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to your fucking inner peace and your mental health. Straight up. Like, you really got to think about these things before you start them. You know, a lot of what we're seeing lately with some of these content creators and some of the people that we know that we felt a certain way for, but all of a sudden fell off, it has to do with this. They bit off more than they could chew. They did not plan accordingly. They did not think. By me doing this, by me stirring shit up, by me going hardcore and being, you know, gun-ho, like not giving a fuck, will I be able to sustain this hardcore persona? And some people have folded it up. Sustainability is something you need to think about. You know? You need to think about it. Whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a fucking annual fee for some kind of service. You know? I want to have Apple Prime, YouTube Premium. I want to have all of these apps at premium level. But do I have the type of job? Do I make the type of money to make it sustainable? Not only that, am I really going to watch all of this? Like, because I know people that have every single, like, they have Paramount, they have all that shit, Tubi, and they only watch one or two. And they'll have like 6, 7 open subscriptions that they're paying. I mean, apart from it, maybe it's sustainable to them because, you know, they make enough money to pay for these things even if they don't use them. But at the end of the day, it's wasteful. So you also have to see sustainability from the side of, okay, maybe I can keep up with it. Maybe I can do this. Maybe it's sustainable, but is it detrimental somewhere else? You know? Just something for you to ponder about. I don't think Bambi's marriage was sustainable once his ex-wife optometrist got her. That's right, Oakland. Sometimes you accept characteristics, then want to change it, but get butthurt when you remind them. That's how they know. Exactly, Oakland. Exactly. We want to change people. We can't change nobody. People will only change if they want to change and they feel they need to change, whether it's because they hit rock bottom, and sometimes you're not going to want to be with them if they hit rock bottom. So maybe for them to change would not be sustainable for your relationship because it would mean they hit rock bottom before they change. Will you be there? Will you be by their side while they hit rock bottom, or will that be your moment of saying, you know what, this is just karma for the ways you treated me, and take off? Shit happens. You know, shit happens. I'm just, I'm trying to speak a little knowledge to my brothers and sisters out there listening. To you trolls too, you might learn something. Write notes, please. Frank Ftdk's dropping knowledge, talking papas or talking papas on a sustainable Sunday. You got to ask yourself, is this that I'm going to try to get into, is it sustainable? Like on Pop Tires, just like, was Joker's tank top elasticity strong enough to sustain? Oh, man. Yeah, that's just funny. That's just funny. Oh, man. To be or not to be, it's free, friend. Well, I don't know, bro. I don't know. See, because I'm not into all of those things. Like, I've got Netflix, and I don't pay for it. My kid pays for it, so I pay for cable. Like, I still pay for cable. So, but I use it because, like, the sports events, like boxing, like what's pay per view in the States, it's free here on cable. So I can watch UFC, all of that, just on regular cable. Maybe I can steal my neighbor's. I left once it wasn't sustainable. Yeah, yes. But we're afraid of that sometimes, Oakland. Sometimes people are afraid of cutting something loose, even though they know it's not sustainable, because because of the burden of expectation. We're going to talk a little bit about the burden of expectation. It gets hard to leave when your car can't drive 2 blocks. So what is the burden of expectation? It's the mental and physical weight of trying to live up to the projected hopes, rules, or standards of others and oneself. Now, that could also be something that you've already announced that you're going to do. That's why, like, we had a conversation once about moving in silence and announcing. There's a video that I put out there, one of these Talking Papas videos, where we talk about moving in silence and announcing shit. Now, how you have to be able to mix things up. No, but there's some things that you truly don't want to announce unless you have a good hold of it. You've already started it. It's already pretty much done. Then you can talk about it. But unless it's not even like 75-80% completed, there are things that you should not be talking about, that you should not be letting people know, because then the burden of expectation grows, and with it grows stress. A lot of things start to happen. You feel like everybody's now watching you to see whether you're able to pull it off or not. So we don't need the burden of expectation. I think the burden of expectation is one of those things that keeps us from moving forward, or that fucks us up along the way. Because we think like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, there are times when you shouldn't really care what people say. And one of those is when you're truly working at doing something to improve and to do better for yourself and others. You've been thinking, let's see, it's okay, the tire shop is on the... Dude, actually pretty fucking decent for free. You got a bunch of weird-ass indie flicks. Okay, I gotta check it out. I don't know. I admit I sabotaged New York transportation. I never have to be more than 2 blocks away from you. Is that... Okay, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's finish the video.
It's a beautiful vision, but a hellish one too, because it places an impossibly punitive burden of expectation on another human. We feel the partner must be right for us in every way, and if they're not, has to be prodded and cajoled into reform. But there is another perspective. Relationships don't have to be so complicated and ambitious if we keep in view what in the end actually makes them fulfilling. If we boil matters down, there might really just be 3 essential things that we want from a lover. Firstly, kindness. A partner who is gentle with our imperfections and can good-humouredly tolerate us as we are. Secondly, shared vulnerability. someone with whom we can be open about our anxieties, worries, and the problems that throw us off balance.
All right, so I think right here, so we've got two things, right? The first one we saw was, let me go back to
From a lover. Firstly, kindness.
kindness. Now, for me, kindness ranks pretty high in what I expect, not just from like, my wife and the relationship that we have, but also from friends and people I get along with. I want to have people that are kind around me, or at least can understand what kindness is and can demonstrate kindness. And kindness is not limited and it's not regulated by religious thought. It's just doing something for someone else that you know will be beneficial for them. What we do every time we put our videos out there, every time that we put these fools on blast. Shout out once again to Exposed To, ladies of Exposed To, everybody doing what they do. We're trying to let people know what's going on. That is a form of being kind. I'm letting you know that what you're walking into could be dangerous to you. I'm looking for your best interest. People may not like it, but that's the ultimate outcome. So in a relationship, it should be the same. Now, as far as like at a job, it might not be kindness. It might be more empathy or understanding, we could say. We can also say understanding / recognition could be replaced for kindness, because you're not going to go a job for people to be nice and ultra kind to you, but you at least expect them to have respect, for you to be recognized for the work that you do, right? And for them there to be some kind of empathy whenever something arises and you may not be able to make it, or you might be late because of something happening in the background. And that could be an interpretation of kindness. Just having the empathy to understand and not be so quick, to have a disciplinary action ready if someone were to be there late or not show up. So see, this can be used across the board. Now, the second one is the one I think we fail at the most.
A partner who is gentle with our imperfections and can good-humouredly tolerate us as we are. Secondly,
shared vulnerability. Okay, this is where I believe we have the most issues. Okay, blindness is crucial for any prospective mate. Shared vulnerability is where we have an issue. Nobody wants to appear weak. Nobody. No. Nobody wants to be seen as weak or as a pushover. Nobody wants to constantly be giving in. No, and if we're talking from a men's perspective, a lot of times it's hard for men to show vulnerability, to show that they're sad or that something bothered them or saddened them or made them upset. All of these weirdos out there that you see come on the chat and just talk like the weirdest shit, this is one of their problems too. They're not able to exhibit or express their vulnerability, and that's why they're so wrapped up in looking for the vulnerability in others, because they can't come to terms with theirs. They're sort of like that kid. What was that kid's name in the Incredibles? The one that turns into a villain. The Incredible. Let me look it up. Villain. Oh yeah, it's Syndrome. Yeah, and that's a pretty apt name, Syndrome. These trolls act like Syndrome. They want to expose everyone's vulnerability. And what was Syndrome's ultimate goal? He was like, if everybody's a super, then nobody really is, right? So because these guys cannot rise up to the occasion and be at the level that they see that we're at, they're doing their darndest to bring us down to their level because they do not have a concept of shared vulnerability. And that just demonstrates the type of pathological, social, what? Variances and weaknesses you have. You can't speak to people honestly. You cannot have honest relationships with people. That's why you get on here acting stupid. No, and we see that happening with the fools that we constantly watch on live. Well, they cannot accept a shred of vulnerability. They always have to be the hardest. They always have to be the craziest. You see these trolls jump on and start threatening people. They want to act as though they're this and that. But all that tells me is you've got some fucking straight up pain in your soul somewhere. Something still hurts inside. And you're afraid that by showing it, you will be looked upon as weak. That's why you guys try to clown me. You guys try to ridicule me because I'm not afraid of demonstrating my vulnerability. I'm a fucking man. Having vulnerabilities does not mean that I can't kick your ass, bitch. Straight up. I'm not sure a level of desperation without someone company. Definitely some down and Tourette's in the mix. I don't really care for people who are clearly extremely vulnerable, pretending as though they are invulnerable. Okay, yeah. And I think that sometimes people act as though they're too vulnerable. Thank you, son. I think sometimes people may act vulnerable, and that's an act, and we got to be careful for that too. But once again, if you know people like that, how long before you get tired of them? Like, how long before you realize that you can't keep a conversation, you can't have any type of relationship with them? I could name a couple of people just off the top of the head here on YouTube, straight up, that got all upset because I decided I didn't want to take on their bullshit, their overly stated vulnerability. You know, because there is a point where, as adults, we need to have some type of control. We need to be able to take responsibility. And if we don't do that, if we're not taking responsibility for the things we know we need to take care of, any relationship that you get into, it could even be a working relationship, it could be a new job, it could be a contract for, leasing a car. If you are not level-headed, if you're going through shit, you might put all of that at risk. Straight up. You will not be able to sustain your end of the bargain. And that is why we have to sit and think if what we're getting into, if what we're about to do, if what we're about to begin, if what we're about to be involved in, if what we're about to say, because sometimes your words write a check that your ass can't cash. If I say this, will I be able to sustain the backlash that it brings or the consequence it brings? Will I be able to sustain it or will I fold? Straight up. Literally nobody likes such. I mean, even his own Ftdk, he'd be sad if it didn't fully understand where she. Yeah, pretty much. That's right, Oakland. That's right. Glad you're listening. Thanks to everyone watching. I got 22 people watching. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Frantica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live. Sustainable Sunday. We're talking about sustainability. And all these factors come into play. And I was saying that to me, shared vulnerability is one of the things that's mostly missing in relationships, especially nowadays, because of politics, because of racism, because of belief systems, because of this false, alpha male, beta male talk, independent woman. Look, listen, I know that there are people that are against the feminist movement. I think that it was necessary for women to get their rights, to be able to vote, to be able to be treated equally. I don't think it's happening yet, to be honest. I don't think that the equality is where it should be. And I understand how some people may have take offense to some of the things that the more extremist groups do. But the reality is that there are certain things that we have to be aware of as far as sustainability. And if you are a strong, independent woman that may not like to be given advice or help by men, but you're attracted to men, like you want a man, but you've got all of these things going on, like all of these limits, you may not ever have a sustainable relationship with someone if your expectations are too damn high. That's why, in this video, if you saw, it got boiled down to three things. The first one is kindness, which I believe every relationship should have. And then we're looking at shared vulnerability, which I'm saying is where most relationships fail. Let me go ahead and catch up. Vulnerability requires a lot of trust and mutual respect. That is absolutely right, Oakland, everything. That is absolutely right. Or self-assurance. See, I can be vulnerable because I've got the self-assurance of know who the fuck I am. Like if I come on here and I shed a tear, you guys know what's up. It's going to be something that impacted me. I'm not going to do it for anything else but something that truly gets to me. And I'm not afraid of showing vulnerability. And I think it's important that as adults, we understand this and that we're able to transmit this to our children. We were talking about that whole Carmelo thing. I think that a lot of that was bent up emotions because these kids nowadays do not want to share. They do not want to demonstrate vulnerability. They do not want to say, you know what, what you're telling me is hurting me. It bothers me, man. It makes me upset that you're saying this about me and bringing it up to people, like talking about it. No, that's the type of world we should be pushing for, where kids can find their parents or can find a trusted adult, someone in a position of influence that could do something and be able to say, listen, this is going on and I need help. Sometimes kids do not have that vulnerability because their parents show them not to be vulnerable. But is that the right lesson? Because of what you're saying, Oakland, it requires a lot of trust and mutual respect. Sometimes we're teaching people not to respect others. Just family and fuck everyone else. But you have to consider, is that the right lesson that you're giving your children? Are you making them liable to having relationships that are unsustainable, or for them to accept unsustainable, unreasonable things in order to be at a job, in order to be in a relationship, in order to be a part of the group? Like they're willing to accept everything just to be a part of it. Like, what are we teaching our kids? That's why I said at the very beginning, these conversations are for adults. And if there are kids that are listening in and you can learn from it, well, Godspeed. But I'm talking to like-minded people. Sometimes we have to have these conversations. Do you have a hard time being vulnerable? Do you have a hard time being kind to people? Because if you can't do any of these, you might not be able to sustain relationships for very long. Straight up. Let's see, Google Plus things. Hey, what's up, Taco? Stay nice to see you, Taco. Taco Stain, Oakland. Taco Stain showed his plan of membership card. Really? Yeah, probably. What's up, Taco Stain? That's right, Ramiro. Ramiro, que você? What's up? You know, as I say, he probably still has Blockbuster video card. Frank, genuine feminism is fully legit. There are versions that have been perverted to ulterior motives. Yeah, I agree. Just with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I believe that at least the premise of it is good, but just how people used it to their own advantage is what's wrong. But that happens with movements sometimes. We've seen it with our movement. We've seen it with people coming in with their own agenda, not being able to be kind or loyal or have shared vulnerability. They ran off acting like victims instead of owning up to the shit that they did. But hey, it is what it is. Requires confidence and definitely trust. That's right. That one can build their own family is an important lesson. Sometimes mud is thicker than water. That's right. Let's finish with this video.
Shared vulnerability. Someone with whom we can be open about our anxieties, worries, and the problems that throw us off balance. Someone we don't have to put on a good front for. Someone around whom we can be weak, vulnerable, and honest, and who will be the same around us. Thirdly, understanding.
All right, so understanding. Let's listen to this.
Someone who is interested in and can make sense of certain obscure features of our minds, our obsessions, preoccupations, and ways of seeing the world, and whom we are excited to understand in turn. If we have these three critical ingredients to hand, we will feel loved and essentially satisfied, whatever differences then crop up in 100 other areas. Perhaps our partner's friends or routines won't be a delight, but we will be content. Just as if we lack these emotional goods and yet agree on every detail of European literature, interior design, and social existence, we are still likely to feel lonely and bereft. By limiting what we expect a relationship to be about, we can overcome the tyranny and bad temper that bedevils so many lovers. A good, simpler, yet very fulfilling relationship could end up in a minimal state. We might not socialize much together. We might hardly ever encounter each other's families. Our finances might overlap only at a few points. We could be living in different places and only meet up twice a week. Conceivably, we might not even ask too many questions about each other's sex life. But when we would be together, it would be profoundly gratifying because we would be in the presence of someone who knew how to be kind, vulnerable, and understanding. A bond between two people can be very deep and important precisely because it's not played out across all practical details of existence. By simplifying and clarifying what a relationship is for, we release ourselves from overly complicated conflicts and can focus on our urgent underlying needs to be sympathized with, seen, and understood.
All right, very good. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this. Relationship with no, let's see, Jay Slaughter, relationships with no trust wind up based on a lot of devious, manipulative, tit-for-tat games, trying to have the upper hand. We can all catch ourselves trying to do that to some degree if not careful. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. At the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, will I be able to live up to this relationship? Are my expectations clear? Are my the other person's expectations clear as to what to expect from this relationship? And you can talk about it regarding work. What does my employer expect from me, and will I be able to deliver? And will my employer understand all of these limitants that I have? As far as like scheduling, sometimes you may have a schedule conflict where they might want you at a certain time, but because of something else that you have going on in life, you let them know. No, they have to decide whether you're compatible for work or not. Like, will they be able to keep you in or keep you at that schedule that you want? Is it sustainable? And if it is, they'll give it to you. And if it's not, they'll let you know. No, we need you at this. If you want the job, You got to do it this way. And at that moment, the ball's in your court, and you have to decide, will I be able to do this with everything that I got going on? Will it be sustainable? Do I have everything in my favor to be able to do the job, do it well, and have the time that I need to do other things in my life? You have to ask yourself that about relationships too. Is this person going to give me the time that I require? Will I be able to give the person the time that they require? And once again, that's why I always recommend for you just to watch and observe, to lay back, to ponder, to meditate, and to pray. Because you have to have all of your thoughts in order. You have to know exactly what you want, what you need, what to expect. But sometimes you may have to do a little negotiating with the other party. Sometimes you might have to give in. But it has to be those things that you're willing to live with, that 10 years from now are not going to be the center of an argument, when right now all it is a pet peeve. Imagine having a 38-year-old son that lives with you who still tries to press you constantly, who have to slap away from her chest and murdering you in front of. Is that sustainable, though? Is that a sustainable living arrangement? Maybe Battlebox thought, I might not be able to stay my argument. Understanding doesn't exist. I think it exists, but it has to be practiced, Oakland. Understanding is one of those things in which you have to kind of force yourself to understand. It's not an easy trait because it's something external. You have to understand someone else, and to understand someone else, you have to go outside of you. So it can get complicated because you still have to have trust in order to understand someone. Like I'm going to understand you because I believe that what you're telling me is real. I believe that what you're going through and what you're feeling is real. So therefore, I can give you that understanding. I might not agree with it, but I understand. See, it kind of plays into empathy a little bit. But I also think that you have to, once again, like you mentioned before, you have to have a lot of trust to understand someone. Like, you have to trust them to understand them. If you don't trust them, even if it makes sense, you're gonna be like, I don't know. You're a liar, bitch. Like that could all be true. All of that you're saying could be well and true, but because of who you are, because of who I know you are, I can't believe it. I don't trust that shit. Of course, it's less weird if they're not related. Oakland wants to fight. Nah, she doesn't want to fight. She's like, so battle box, bro. Let's go. All right, we can get on the battle boxes. You should finally release demon mode, like when you unleash on berate me brutally in private. I don't think Oakland is like that, but I think Oakland is a type that she'll make you feel stupid without like insulting you. You won't like Oakland when she's angry. Sustainability, Franticas dropping all his Talkin papas. Live on Sustainable Sunday. Got a little Bible verse in there. Watch the video. Kind of breaking it down now, having a conversation with you guys. If anybody wants to jump on, you can go ahead and do so. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Any little bit helps. I'm trying to get to 1,000 or more subscribers. Now, hopefully you guys can help me and you enjoy my content. Why not subscribe? Why not subscribe? That's right, Oakland. Is it sustainable? That's something you should ask yourself more often. Will it be sustainable? Before you get a loan, or a car on credit or anything on credit, ask yourself, will it be sustainable? Will I be able to keep this up? Before you raise your hand to be anybody's torpedo, anybody's torpedo, you have to ask yourself, is it sustainable? Will I be able to go on every mission that they throw at me? No, like Mission Impossible. When that self-destructing message comes up, how many times will I be able to do that? Is it sustainable? Or will I give up the whole organization? Hey, I'm not complaining about somebody else being big. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable, man? Are your narratives sustainable? Are your lies sustainable? Like how much longer before you're found out that you're not, that once again your narrative has no weight. There's no substance to it. How sustainable is that? I can't just hear Oakland's voice and melt. Okay. We have to make sure that what we're doing is sustainable. I look at ET, doing all that he's doing. He's doing the main ET channel. He's doing Ladies of Exposed to. We're doing the collective. I think there might be a collective tonight. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. Battle boxes. And then we got Funk Fridays. We also have Oldies tonight, Sunday Oldies. Pretty soon that's going to be part of the radio show. Now, he's got a lot going on. Apart from his private life. But I'm sure that if he's capable of doing all of these things, it's because he knows and he believes that it's sustainable. But at the same time, I also think that a lot of us will begin to support more, will do more, so it continues to be sustainable for everyone watching, everyone participating. Now, sometimes it requires that you get help, that you get people, involved, that you delegate for something to be sustainable. And that's where trust comes in. That's where vulnerability comes in. Because sometimes you might have to let somebody know, you know what, I can't do this by myself. I need your help. And that's demonstrating vulnerability. That's asking for help. Some people can't do that. They can't even do that. I know I couldn't for a long time. It was always, nah, I can do it myself. No, I'm just going to do it by myself. When she's angry, it's terrifying, like a kid becoming a... You're giving me a bad red, no man, that's cool with us. No life fair. Jay Slaughter, her soft voice, but the house needs to know about her vicious side. Yeah, that's right. Oakland, let's see. I wish that were the case. I'm deaf in my ears now from her angry tirades. Hope it's not permanent. Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, Oakland, you can't be yelling at people. It's not sustainable. We're gonna lose people from listening in. Look, there's nothing wrong with giving in, with negotiating the terms and conditions of whatever it is that you're getting into. I think that's the best way to do it. I think that before you sign up, you're able to say if you're going to be able to do it or not. Think about it. Be reasonable. Be honest with yourself. Will I be able to put up with this person's sarcasm forever? Maybe not. And if when I'm angry, that's the first thing I point out, then maybe that's something that truly bothers me. And maybe that's something that person's never going to change because that's who they are. And I have to respect that. So maybe, just maybe, I have to find other things, that are strong within the relationship, focus on those, and not give too much attention to this other part that maybe it's not really that bad. And that's the type of train of thought that you need to have in everything in life. You need to consider it all. Take your time. Look, you're not getting any younger, and by rushing into things, all you're going to do is make mistakes. Look, we already see 45, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds on these YouTube streets running into a mistake, and then once they get out of that one, they run into the next one. They open their mouth. They don't think about what they're going to say. They talk so much shit. They talk so much reputable shit that we can say is false, that is not at all true. And they get upset that their views are no longer sustainable. They cannot be live more than 30 minutes, sometimes an hour is the most that I've seen lately. Your whole get down was not sustainable. You coming on lives, on YouTube, threatening, talking shit, trying to badmouth people, expose and dox people, calling them out their name, being straight trolls. None of your shit has stuck. And we're still waiting for the, what was it? The airlifting from the high desert paperwork. We're still waiting for that. Whoever came up with that narrative and those that push that narrative have demonstrated themselves to be liars. And some people continue to listen to their lies. So that just goes to show that truth is sometimes irrelevant to people, but that's not going to stop us from constantly doing what we do and living in truth. Frank, you forgot the false jackets as well. No, I'm getting there. You guys put a false jacket on me that is unsustainable. You've had months to prove it, and you haven't been able to. Now you're creating other false narratives that won't amount to shit. They're unsustainable. Because in order for something to be sustainable, there has to be truth. It has to exist. There has to be power, energy behind it. There has to be action. There has to be a constant. Lies are not a constant. Lies are eventually found out. So your bullshit fucking narratives are unsustainable, bitch. Ftdk talking papas, talking papa. Sustainable Sunday, we're talking papas live. Ftdk's dropping knowledge, talking papas live on a sustainable Sunday. Little bit of a message, little bit of knowledge. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Please share. Please comment. I kind of lost my sustainability of my arguments just by thinking about it. Ya ves, ya te los desarmé, Oakland. Ya te los desarmé. Well, we can still get into battle boxes, Oakland. I just want to talk to you. You're good people. You know what's up. We're buddies over here. Talking shit about cancer patients should not be sustainable behavior. That's right. Like how often are you going to be called out for talking shit about people and wishing death upon people, and your channel continuing to be sustainable? I don't think so. I think the views speak for themselves. And I'm not. Look, so here's the thing. I understand views are important as far as like engagement and shit are concerned on YouTube because of how the pay structure is and all of that, right? So I know that the more views I get, the better it is for me. So obviously I'm going to push to put out content that people watch. And I'll ask you guys to watch, and you guys will decide if you want to or not, and that's it. I can't force you guys to do so. But I know that for them, the viewership that they're having lately is not sustainable for their channel. No, that's why you heard even today I was watching a video that Slugs put out there. Shout out to Slugs Town. And he was talking about being sick and that he's gotten out of bed, put out content, and once he's done with his videos, he goes back into bed. He's had a lot of fever. He's been really sick. So shout out to Slugs, man. Prayers to you, bro. Hope you feel better, man. I hope you get better soon. Talking about cancer victims is disgusting. Yeah, it is. Joker thinks his hands are vicious. He's clearly never met Oakland. Little White Ferret, there's not much more despicable behavior. That's right. That's right, Taco Stain. Mike Tyson was constantly ducking Oakland. Little White Ferret, he got the tattoo on his face, hoping he wouldn't recognize him. All right. If I was vicious, toxic, I would have left my house alone. Yeah, that's right. I love you, Oakland. Like, it's not cool, and when we're seeing it in the viewer count, and that's what makes their channel sustainable. That's really all they care about. But Slugs was saying that he gets out of bed, makes content, goes back to bed, and I understand why he does it. That he's really trying to put as much effort into YouTube as possible. So I can see him doing that. But if this was like an illness that was a constant, like how sustainable would it be for him to do it? That's why I respect, for example, Rob at Misled Loyalty. Shout out to Rob at Misled Loyalty, man. Prayers to him. Prayers to his channel, prayers to his body. Hopefully he can overcome that cancer, man. Fuck cancer. But you see him putting out videos and going live every day, regardless, despite of his situation. For him, it's sustainable. He's made the conscious decision to do it. I don't know if I could do that. So I can only respect it, admire it, and continue to support it. And if you can never support Rob at Misled Loyalty, if you guys can support him, if you guys can donate, please do so. I try to donate, with the little that I can. Let's show support to some of these guys, man. If we know that people are going through it, support them. Because they're probably thinking, hopefully Rob is in a good place financially. But there are people that are thinking, will this that the doctor is recommending I do, will I be able to pull it off? Will it be sustainable? Some people are truly putting on a balance whether they can work and go through this health situation at the same time. They're out there deciding life and death and whether it's sustainable. So, once again, I just want you guys to always think about what it is that you're getting into. And think about it before you do, before you start running your bullshit ass narratives. You should think, is it sustainable? Because the truth is going to come out and you're just going to look like a liar once again. Talking papas or talking papas. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas. Little bit of a message, little bit of knowledge on Sustainable Sunday. What's up, the irreverent one? Hold up, Frank in chat. Hello, Frank in chat. Hope everyone is at their best on this Sustainable Sunday. That's right. Hey, guys, as we're being here, thanks so much, the irreverent one. It's always a good time with the Exposed to family and everybody that jumps on, the subscribers, everybody here. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Oakland are performing at expected levels. Oakland Tuxedo doesn't want to face the reckoning that's been brewing. She could not handle the beatings I've been taking for. Okay. Irrelevant one. Oakland, at least I'm not. Yeah, pretty much. Rob, that's right, Rob. Shout out to Rob, man. Buy a copy of Rob's book for a friend or a family member. Yeah, that'd be good too. Good little gift. It's wiped out of most of my money I've saved. Yeah, exactly, little white fairy. Shout out to you, man. And if there was any way that we could support you, please let us know. You know, you're in the Discord. If there's any way that we can support you, let us know. Straight up. I'm being serious. I think that all of us here, with the family, would love to help. If there's anything that we can do from our end that you can share with us that maybe we could help you with, let us know. Straight up. No, I fear it's not right that the man sons. Yeah, that's right. No shit. It's like they want to make fortune. I said they do. They do. That is the whole thing. So look, we're talking about sustainability, right? When we talk about big pharma, and I'm talking big pharma worldwide, the only way that their business model can be sustainable is if they take an eye and a leg for it. They take price everything heavily, or they keep the population sick so that they can continue selling their medicine. They have to know whether it's sustainable for them or not to provide real care. You know? It's like with mechanics. I've known mechanics and I've had problems with mechanics that I've gone in for them to do something and they leave something undone. Just so I have to come back, so they have to work on it, and I probably will have to pay them again. Big pharma is not sustainable unless people are sick or get sick. No, it's a vicious cycle. So sustainability definitely plays a part in how big pharma operates, in how they line the pockets of politicians, in how they sell, in how they market medicine, on whether they only sell on the open public market or if they're doing dealings underground in other ways where their narcotics can be used for other things. They wake up every day thinking their business needs to remain sustainable. I'm not after support. I just have to start again. No, well, yeah, but if you do need support, we're here. Start toning the motherfucking building shot. Well, that's right, Nasty Pun. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. If you guys haven't already done so, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'm going to be on for a little while longer. Just wanted to talk to you guys, give you guys a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of a message, like we always do. Little White Ferret, and it just feeds right into these scumbags, industrialists, pollutants. Yes. Polluting our air, water, and food because they buy up all the clinics, hospitals, and farm. Exactly, bro. It's a vicious cycle. That's exactly. But they need to do that for their fucking markets, for their business to be sustainable. Taco saying 209 in La Casa, Nasty Pun. That's right. Nasty Pun, disorder. It's part of the death and taxes. Everyone wants your money no matter the reason. They have the incentive to poison us, but not the incentive to have our genuine health interests in mind. Predatory parasite capitalism at its worst. Exactly. And that all feeds into what we're talking about. You see? I'm always going to bring you guys topics that we can talk about, that we can, take up and split up and think about in many different ways. You guys know that the panel is open. Anyone can jump in as well, as long as they let me know and they're recognizable in their profile on the chat. You guys can jump on and we can have these discussions. But I appreciate everyone that's here. Now, bottom line is, we really have to think about what it is that we're getting ourselves involved in or getting into. It could be a membership. It could be a team, a sports team. It could be an academic team. It could be a job. It could be a relationship. Whatever it is, you got to think about it. Will I be able to provide the goods? Always, constantly. No, I remember when I used to, like, even now at work, like when I work, because I do 8 hours a day, I'm usually on the phone. And I have to make sure that I can maintain my energy, I can maintain my wit, I can continue to process things, at a fast rate for 8 hours. No, one of the things I had to ask myself was, will I be able to do this and teach English? Will it be sustainable and still have a channel and do everything that I'm doing now? And thank God I have the time, because once again, time management. I've been talking to you about time management. Time management makes this possible. I'm able to do all that I do because I manage my time. So I'm able to evaluate whether this is sustainable or not, and so far it is. And the worst of people always ends up with the most of our money, freedom, and time. That's right. Time is definitely the most valuable, but only seen when it's lost. Yeah, that's why I talk about time management, little white ferret. You guys are understanding what I'm putting down. So when all these people come on here talking about, what knowledge are you talking about, bitch? If you watch my videos, if you listen in, you guys will get something. Something will stick. Something will make you think. You will evaluate or re-evaluate something. Sometimes you'll accept and adopt some of the things that I say. Sometimes you won't, because they don't go with your line of thinking and your opinions, and that's exactly fine. That's perfectly fine. But the idea of my channel, the idea of my lives, or the idea behind me doing all of this is to get you to think, is to have a conversation, and to put out there my point of view in a respectful way. Now, if I talk shit, it's because a lot of people have come on talking shit. You guys already know. We're under the microscope. A lot of haters, a lot of people like to create false narratives and talk shit. And the message goes out to you too, bitch. Is your narrative, is your hate, is your affiliation sustainable? You got to ask yourself that. How long will you continue to keep up with it? You can do it forever, for as much as I care. Luckily, my wit is one thing nobody else can take from me, despite how hard they try. Yeah, that's right, G Slaughter. And that's, what makes you a target. Hey, but we take it all in stride. If you have to ask, you'll never know. Yeah, that's right. Just like I'm the same. We're a match made in hell. You guys are weird. Let's see. People who just won't fold are always the biggest targets. Yeah, always. And we're not going to fold. We're going to continue doing what we do. Talking papas daily. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, coming at you once again. A little bit of message, a little bit of knowledge. Hoping everyone's having a fantastic Sunday. I'm about to jump off. Let's see, Andre, these lives are way better than the other lives where we just watch those all day. It's getting boring. At least we can have thought-provoking discussions. Yeah, but see, the reason why we do the other thing, Andre, and we're going to continue doing it, is because a lot of it is relevant. A lot of things are insulting. It's the insulting behavior of it all. Like maybe when you take it in live, and that's what happens sometimes. When you take it in live, you're kind of reacting to certain things live. But then when you go back and you rewatch and you really pay attention to the things that are being done and said, you can understand why it's detrimental to the youth, why it's detrimental to the standards that we're trying to uphold, why it's detrimental that these guys use the whole raza narrative behind what they do. And that's why we continue exposing them the way we do. Now, we're going to have these side conversations. With Exposed To, we've had the collective for a long time. So you can watch, they're a little later, but those are conversations that are had that have nothing to do with what we do as the Exposed To revolution, which will continue putting these fools on blast. Just how to make it clear, just how to clear it up, just how to put it out there publicly for people to understand that we will not let up. We will continue doing what we do. Oakland in the motherfucking building. That's right, Andre. They are what we make of them. That's right. That's right, Oakland. We watch them so they don't slip. That's right. We're applying pressure. It has nothing to do with whether we enjoy what they do or their content or not. No, it's because of the bullshit that they say. It's because of the weird ass shit that they do that we continue putting them on blast, and we're not going to stop. Andre, and it's not like we can't have both, and then some. Exactly, exactly. That's right, Oakland. But that's why we also have the lives that we have, and ET does a lot of that too. So we're going to continue rocking together. We're going to continue doing what we do. We're going to continue putting them fools on blast. We're going to have battle boxes. We're going to have ladies of exposed to. We're going to continue talking shit. We're going to put out videos, shorts, lives, all that we do, and we're going to expand on it. Shout out to Sooners, shout out to Terps, shout out to Ladies of Exposed Tube, shout out to Taco Stain, shout out to Hangman Stranger, shout out to Katie Frizzle, everybody doing their part. Exposed Tube, the movement, Ladies of Exposed Tube. I truly appreciate the support. We're going to continue doing what we do. If fools don't get it, they probably never will. Yeah, that makes sense, especially them being on a platform like TikTok where kids are. Exactly, Andre. That is the point. That's the mission. It's not so much that we do it for an entertainment purpose, like we're getting our kick off of it. I mean, some shit is funny, and we obviously pull out, call out their bullshit. They do a lot of stupid shit that's entertaining, but at the end of the day, it's to keep people aware of what they do. That's right, Taco Stain. Put them on blast. Put them on blast. That's right. Andre's account was made on the 21st of this month. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but yeah, Torta Pounder. But sometimes there are comments that will allow us to speak our piece. So we got to take advantage of those comments where we can build on. That was a good comment that I could build on and let people know we're not going to stop doing the shit that we do, because they're perving out on TikTok. They're getting drunk. They're acting stupid. They're being racist. They're doing all of this shit, and we're not going to let it slide. Not at all. What people forget is ET is also smart. Yeah, bro, we're all smart. Torta, my dude. That's right. Taco, what's up? That's right. We appropriate their horrible content and make it fun. Yeah. You already see the haters coming in. Just got off work. That's right, Taco. That's right, man. I'm about to jump off, Taco, so we do what we do. Jay, grow up, you inbred Jay. Oh, yeah, what do I look like? It ain't what I look like that makes me scary. Plus, yeah, it's not what we look like. These fools have a way of, talking about me, making fun of my looks, really, really fantasizing over my looks and over me, like in weird ways. It is what it is. But your narratives and your lies aren't sustainable. You putting out like weird shit on me to ridicule me, that might be sustainable because I'm not going to stop putting out content. You twisting my words around, that's probably going to continue to be sustainable to you because I'm going to continue to use words to express myself, bitch. It is what it is. My content is sustainable. Ay, Torta, that's right, sir. It's the Seahawks, man. I'm getting ready for what? What's up, Mr. Oxnard? Nice to see you, man. Salute to the whole family. Shout out to you, Mr. Oxnard. Shout out to Miss Yaya. Shout out to Mimi. Shout out to Blue. Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to Taco. Shout out to everybody, man. Hangman Stranger, Popeye. Hey, free El Gato Callejero. Free Local Bird, Reuters Pug, Kelly Big Dog, the Hangman Stranger, Nightmare, Fear of the Dark, Little White Ferret, everybody, man, Mags, E. Mateo, everybody that's a part, that supports, that is always down to support us and watch us. I truly appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. We'll be in the Oldie show later on tonight, right? If you haven't already done so, go to the post. I already put in my five. Hey, my five oldies for tonight are dance oldies because I'm a fucking dancer, bitch. I'm gonna rock and roll over your ass. I don't give a fuck about your narratives. You guys are stupid, man. Come on. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, man. Talking papas. Talking papas. Sustainable Sunday has come to an end. God bless every single one of you. Thank you for being here. If you didn't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And until next time, like I always say, I'm going to say peace. People, oh, what did you say at the end? It's always peace, peace. Because that's really what I want. Well, the only reason why I go at these fools is because they go at me. Why go at me? Right? Why go at me? That's right, Oakland. That's right. Look at these idiots. I'm soft. Twinkle toes. Now they're saying I beat on women. That's a narrative. But look, now they're saying I'm drunk. Look, I do, I keep it respectful. You know what this is? This is coffee right here. Dummy. Coffee. You guys wish you had it like us, man. But you don't. That's right, Taco Stain. Everybody, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks so much for stopping by. Haters, hit the like before you walk out. And once again, let me try this one more time. Until next time,